is up, my bitches? If you are new here, hello, my name is Brittany. Do you guys recognize me with my hair down? Today I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite makeup products from 2021 so far. There's a lot here. I have found so much amazing makeup this year so far. And we're going to do another one of these come December or January. We shall see. So if you guys like these types of videos, don't forget to thumbs up this video, subscribe, because we do these also every single month. Monthly favorites, that's a thing around here. This hair is going to drive me crazy this whole video, but I'm just going to jump right into it. Let me make sure my microphone's on. We're good. All right. Now, I'm going to do this by brand, and if I forget anything, because it wouldn't be a favorites and fails if I didn't forget at least something. So if I think of anything after the fact, because I forgot to go through my purse before, because sometimes makeup hangs out in there. So if I think of anything after, I'll link it down below, or I'll update it in like a pinned comment, but everything will be linked down below. I'll link timestamps. That way if you're like wondering about certain brands, you could just jump right to the brand itself, okay? Cool. So I'm going to start with, I wasn't sure if these launched in 2020 or 2021, but I didn't do a video on them until 2021, so that's where I'm throwing these. So I wanted to mention these Kaleidos highlighters, okay? My least favorite of them all is the Space Age Prophecy. But let me tell you what, these highlighters are fucking incredible. But these are the highlighters if you want something that's like super wearable, so it looks a bit more natural, but it has color to it. So if you want like a blue shift or a green or a pink, something along the lines of something just like different, these are the ones that I highly recommend. My favorite of all of them, I think I would say, would be probably Mars Melter, because it has a really beautiful like slight duochrome like pinky tinge to it. It's so nice, and the packaging on these are so nice too. These were all sent to me by Kaleidos, but I'm like, I would buy these anyways because I think the packaging is super cute. But this is what the shade looks like that I'm talking about, and it's just so pretty. You could use these as eyeshadows as well, but it does have like a duochrome shift. But for how like sparkly these are, and I have textured skin, it doesn't accentuate texture like you would expect it to. So these, I'm like, all right, I don't think these launched this year. Some of these products didn't launch this year that I'm going to talk about, but I use them and I love them. So I'm going to do what I want. So there's that for you. Next thing I wanted to mention is the Kaleidos, the Blue Agave Softening Lip Mask. I love putting this on for basically like when I'm doing a video, like when I'm applying makeup and stuff, basically just to let sit on my lips before I apply my lip products. This is just, it's nice. It doesn't really have, I don't think, a scent to it. Yeah, to me it doesn't, but it just gives the most beautiful, like, glossy look to your lips. It just makes your lips look juicy, and it's so nice. But I mean, it's like one of those things. It's like I wouldn't order from Kaleidos just for this if I was already placing an order and then I wanted to just throw it in, because it's like $8. It's super inexpensive. So it's like, all right, if I'm ordering some of these, I'm going to throw this in the cart too, because I feel like lip masks, there's so many amazing ones, but this is definitely one of them. So I'm going to put this over here before I misplace a bunch of stuff. So moving on. Next brand I want to talk about is one of my favorite brands like of all time, and that's Dior. I'm such a big fan of Dior, it's not even funny. So the first product I want to mention is something I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about or were interested in. The Dior, what the fuck is this called? The Hydrating Blush Balm for a healthy glow effect. Now, I think this is a fantastic product for like spring, summer, simply because it has this, like, it's almost just like a beachy type of balm highlighter. It looks like it does nothing, but let me tell you what, if I want something that's just quick and easy and just to apply right to the high points of my face, basically like for boat days, I just love the balmy glisten that this gives to my skin. If you wear your hair down, it's definitely not ideal because it is a balm. Like, your hair will stick to it. But I'm over here like, I fucking love this thing. The other one is definitely not worth it to me because it's got such a slight sheen to it. So this one, it has more of that goldy sheen, so that's why I like this one a lot more. But the other one, it's more of like a light pink. That one is just more of like gonna give you that glossy look to your face. But I just don't hear anybody talk about this, and I think it's such a particular item that I don't know if a lot of people would justify the price for it, but I love it. So there's that. I also fell in love with the Dior lipsticks, because I've been sleeping on Dior lipsticks for a really long time. So I initially picked up, I think it was Pink Sakura, this one right here. I've worn this shit out of this lipstick. I just think it's such a nice formula. I love that they have like basically the same type of packaging, but they have a variety of different textures. So they have like satins, mattes, shimmers, metallics. I personally am favorable towards shimmers, and I love on their website you could actually click like the formula that you're looking for, and it will show you exactly which shades fit that formula, if that makes sense. So I like that one so much. I ended up picking up the shade Paris in the satin formula as well. This was from like the Mother's Day collection, and I'm just like, look at the embossing on this. You're not gonna be able to see it really well on camera right now, but the embossing on this was super cute. And then I'm like, the shade of this is just perfect for me. I love this shit. That's it. That's the tea. I just love a satin lipstick, and it's got the luxury packaging. Again, I'm such a big fan of Dior. So there's that. Love their lipsticks. And then they launched the Dior Skin Nude Luminizer Summer Dune collection, and I picked up both highlighters, but this one here, this is another one. I'm like, nobody's fucking talking about this. The shade Pink Dune. Are you kidding me? It's so pretty. Like the prettiest baby pink highlight. I feel like they've done a highlight that looks like this before. So maybe that's why people aren't talking about it. But I'm over here like, do you see that embossing though? Listen, if you want a luxury highlight that is going to look gorgina on the skin and not really accentuate texture but give you that beaming highlight, Dior is that bitch. Okay? I love Dior. And then the last product from Dior I have is the Forever Natural Nude Foundation. This one I didn't like when I first used it. I feel like with this one, it's like you have to prep your skin accordingly. You have to put like your spot conceal, like you have to really make sure you conceal your imperfections. But if you don't need really any coverage, or you want something that's super natural every day, just thebomb.com, this is 100% that foundation for you, because it's such a beautiful, just natural look to your skin. It's got a natural finish. I have the shade 3.5N. I love the fact that it comes in the glass bottle, the nude top. I think this is only available on the Dior website, and I tell you guys all the time, if you're gonna shop Dior, highly recommend shopping from Dior specifically, because they give you like the gift box. You get that whole luxury experience. So like right there, I would say this has like medium, maybe like light medium coverage. But again, make sure you're prepping your skin as far as like covering your imperfections. But putting this on top, it's just like, oh my God. It looks so, so nice. But it was just weird because at first I did not like it. I was like, normally I love Dior. What's happening? But then the more that I used it and the more that I just realized, okay, make sure you're like spot correcting and stuff. I love this stuff. So that's it for Dior. And then I'm going to regret this. I know it. I tried Sicily. God damn you, Mo. The Sicily Double Tenseur Instant and Long-Term Primer. I feel like we've heard Jaclyn Hill talk the most about this. And I get it. I fucking get it. It's such a nice primer. It makes all of my makeup look incredible. Like, I initially got this, used that up today. And then I have this, and I'm like, fuck, I do not want to spend $200 on a fucking primer. But it's so, so nice. I've also been really loving the Good Molecules Silicone-Free Priming Moisturizer. But there's something so bougie and so extra. And it's like a whole experience. The way that the Sicily smells. There's a new brand, I think it's Sephora. It's called Alpen Beauty. The products that I've tried from them so far, they smell just like Sicily. So I'm like, oh my God, this is such like a what the fuck. But I want the full size so badly now because of how nice this is on my skin. If anything, I feel like it just gives me like moisture. It gives me that tacky base, so my makeup sticks really nicely. It is on my face right now. A lot of the stuff that I'm going to talk about today is on my face. I'll make sure I specify which. But it is on my face, and I just feel like everything lays so nicely. But I would say, if you're looking at purchasing the full-size bottle of this, I'll show you what the full-size, that's what it actually looks like. It doesn't look like this, I promise. So it's like, if you're looking to purchase, I would say shop at Selfridges or Harrods, but lean more towards Selfridges simply because it's cheaper. You could buy this at Nordstrom. I think I already have that link down below, but it's $200 there, but at Selfridges it's like $165. So I'm like, hey, why wouldn't I just buy it from Selfridges? And Selfridges ship super quick. So Sicily, that's a brand that I'm like scared to step into because I know I'm gonna love everything. And disclaimer, if you're new, I love luxury shit. I love expensive makeup, and you're going to see a lot of that today. So let's talk about more expensive makeup. Let's talk about CHANTECAILLE. So CHANTECAILLE, I feel like everybody saw my video. If you're here, you've probably seen this. You saw the video on the CHANTECAILLE The Flower Power collection. Now, this launched with a blush, a lipstick, and this, I believe. So there's now 2 shades of, what is this even called? The Flower Power Perfect Blur Finishing Powder. So this is a pressed powder. And man, oh man, if you did not see that video, you need to go watch the magic that happens when I apply this. Because I swear to you, I have never had my skin look so smooth until I tried another powder that I'm going to talk about today. So this powder, this is more if I'm like on the go or if I want like a touch-up powder for me, because I do favor a loose powder. So this one I'm like, all right, if I'm in a pinch and I need to touch up, this is the one I would reach for. There's another one I'll talk about that I use to like set my makeup. But this is fantastic. I think this packaging is super fucking cute too. I know a lot of people preferred the hummingbird packaging, but I think this is really, really cute. So I'll be having a future video coming with CHANTECAILLE as well, but this one is definitely a fave. And these Lip Chics, man, are so freaking good. So I have the shade Coral Belle and Cappuccine. Cappuccine is definitely the one that I'm favorable to because I'm going to show you. I feel like you've seen me wear this a lot. It just gives exactly what I would look for in a lipstick, because I love when a lipstick just has that satin formula and it just looks juicy. Like, I'm a big fan of glossy lips. Especially with lip filler, they look poppin'. So when I put these on, I think these look beautiful as like a dewy blush as well. But Cappuccine, oh my god, I fell so hard in love with this. And it's got, look at, it's got the magnetic closure. Like, these are luxury. These are so, so nice. Cannot recommend the Lip Chics enough. I really think CHANTECAILLE has all fantastic lip formulas, at least that I've tried so far, because I feel like they all give you this sort of a situation. They're so nice. So that's it from CHANTECAILLE so far. I'm still working and using more products, so I'll keep you guys posted in a future video. But then we have Auric, which I feel like everybody tried this brand, but I love both products that they launched. So the first thing was the Glow Lust, the Radiant Luminizer. I picked up the shade Morganite, which it's a little light for me now, but I feel like I could still use it as a highlight topper, which is what I typically like to use this for, because it does have, I would say it has more of like a creamy texture to it. It's a little bit thicker than like the Charlotte Tilbury, than the Lisa Eldridge, which I'm not going to talk about any products really that I just started using. These are going to be ones that I've been using throughout the year so far. So this as a highlight is incredible. I've used it underneath makeup, but that's not my favorite way to use it. I personally like to lay down my powder highlight and put this right on the high point. It looks incredible. It's so nice, especially if you're more fair. And they did just relaunch this shade, Morganite, but it's lighter than this. It's supposed to be like 10% lighter. So this one I highly recommend if you're looking for something that is like the Hollywood Flawless Filter, but this gives me more, like, it gives me more shine. It gives me more of that bam in your face. I still love both, but Charlotte Tilbury, I prefer to use that underneath makeup. This one I prefer to use on top. And then, if you're wondering what's on my eyeballs, It's the Smoke Reflect in the shade Ego, and I feel like this is honestly so underrated because I have been wearing this quite a bit. Like, usually I haven't been the biggest fan of products like this, so it's got like a cream base on the bottom and then a powder on top. So this, it looks gray. How do you guys think it looks on camera right now? Leave me your feedback, because whenever I wear this, it's like, all right, when you apply it like that, it looks gray, right? And then you open the lid, and this is so luxurious. It's so nice. They killed it with the packaging. So then you have the powder, which is like the topper. I'll put it on part of the cream so you can see like what the difference is. When this is on my eyes, sometimes it looks gray. Sometimes it looks blue. Sometimes it looks green. It's so weird. And I was talking to my friends the other day, and one of them thought it looked green. One of them thought it looked blue. It's just such a trippy shade, but it's so beautiful. Such an amazing formula. I wore this to test for this video today, the other day for a wedding. This does not budge all damn day. All day long. It's incredible. Highly recommend. Like, this is a formula. Like, I got this one just to try it because I'm like, normally I'm not the biggest fan of products like this. But something in me is changing as far as, like, I'm really growing an appreciation for, like, the one and dones. Just because that's pretty much what I've been wearing, because summer, my room gets so hot. I don't want to spend, like, an entire, like, half hour just on my eyeshadow. This, it's like, boop, 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 and it's done. It's perfect. And then, again, the packaging is so luxurious. Like, it's a glass bottle. I just feel like this shade is very underrated. And you can see it on my eyeballs right now. And it looks beautiful. So there's that. Okay. Auric is done. I need to get more of those. That's how you know that I love it. Let's talk about some Westman Atelier. So both of these products were actually gifted to me. So I wanted to first mention the Westman Atelier, the Face Trace Contour Stick in the shade Biscuit. So this one I was eyeing for a long time, and then my friend's like, I got you. So she sent it to me. So Biscuit, it's definitely more cool tone, but cool tones, this is the best part. Cool tones on me, they usually look really muddy. I do have this on my face today underneath like my foundation and everything. So when I saw this initially, I'm like, ooh, I don't know if that's going to look the best, because usually it looks like I just threw mud on my face. But with this one, because it's such like, I don't know, it's like when you apply it, I personally like to just draw this right on my face. When you first apply it, you're like, ooh, I don't know if it's going to blend out that great. But then it blends out so nicely, and it does look muddy for like 0.5 seconds. But then I also do feel like it makes my face look so much slimmer. So I love that for me. So this one was definitely a fave so far. And then I also have the Westman Atelier, the Lit Up Highlight Stick in the shade Lit Up. And this shade, it's like the same type of packaging. It's got the magnetic closure to it. But this shade, so you look at it and it looks white. And you apply it. This reminds me of like a cream version of like those Kaleidos highlighters that I was talking about earlier. See how it has that beautiful purple shift to it? Fuck me all the way up, okay? It's so incredible. And it's just, it's got like the best of everything. It's got like the unique tone to it. It's got the, I don't know, it's got like an iridescence to it. It's got that balmy look to it. It's just, I don't know, it's such a unique formula, texture, and it's clean beauty. It's like a clean luxury beauty. Who wouldn't love that? So those are my favorite products so far from Miss Gucci Westman. Because I love them. Oh my god, it's just, I love especially the packaging is like my favorite thing. Speaking of Gucci, how the fuck, how dare I almost bypass over Gucci? Let's start with one of my newest, and it's the Gucci, the Stylo Contour, it's an eyeliner pencil, okay, I'm not even going to try it. So I don't wear this shade a lot, but that was exactly why I got this, because I'm like, okay, if I'm going to get an expensive ass eyeliner, I want it to be like a unique shade. But let me tell you what, this does not budge. This is like the type of formula that I love this one so much, and it appears just like that in my waterline. It's like, I love this so much, I want to get them all. Because it doesn't budge. So let's actually, you know what? Let's apply it, since I didn't apply anything, and I think it'll go nicely with what I have going on in my eyes today. It's like I have to go over it a bit to make it go on and make it show up. But once I do, actually, let me do it this way, because I feel like this is how I typically apply it, is, yes, I pull on my eye. But since it is more of like a pastel, I do have to draw it quite a bit. But it's like, once it's there, it ain't going nowhere. I feel like Marc Jacobs did a shade like this before that was also beautiful, but who the hell knows what's going on with that brand now. But it's like, I love the packaging on this. I like the gold cap. I really like Gucci. Gucci's that brand for me right now that no matter what they launch, I'm going to want it. Just because I feel like they're very consistent. And then I also tried a Gucci lipstick. I got the shade Agatha Orange in the Satin formula. I know, shocker, a satin lipstick. This packaging, though, is so beautiful. But look at this. Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. I knew you guys were comfortable on that one. Oh my god, this... There's always a time and a place for an orange-ass lipstick. And oh my god, it is so stinking pretty. It's so nice. I love it. And it's got the, like, Gucci logo on the lipstick. I should have taken close-ups of this stuff because I'm, like, doing this no justice. But, like, this, it feels weighty. Like, this just feels like a luxury makeup product. So I love that. And then I finally got to try the Gucci bronzer. I got the Gucci powder as well, but the Gucci bronzer was the standout for me because I'm like, first of all, the packaging is a moment. And I got the shade number 3. I actually have this on my face today. I fucking love this. And it does have a fragrance to it. So if you don't like fragrances in your cosmetics, you probably won't like this. But if you are eyeing a bronzer for the VIVE sale that's probably coming up in like a month or two, add to cart. It's incredible. And I love the packaging. It does have more warmth to it, but it just looks so flattering. You can obviously see it on my face. It gives a beautiful, just natural look to the skin. And that's what I look for in my cosmetics now. I'm like, I want something that's going to look like I have makeup on, but more natural and not like super pigmented. I don't know. I really like, first of all, like, it comes in a bag and a box. I love that shit. Okay, I love that shit. And then my favorite thing from Gucci this year, this is what I'm wearing on my face today, the Gucci foundation. One of the best fucking foundations of all time. Fight me. Okay? I've heard so many people be like, oh, I don't like it, I've tried it. I'm like, you're a liar. I'm just kidding. But there's just something so different about this foundation. Like, every single time I wear this, my husband looks at me different. I say this every single time, and it's like, I don't tell him that I'm wearing it, but he looks at me fucking different. And I love that for me. So I'm like, all right, I have never had him look at me any differently with any other foundation. So this one, I started with the shade 270, I think it was. Hold on, I can't see. No, 220N was my first shade. It's very yellow. I feel like that's the only downfall with this foundation is every shade is very yellow, but it almost like applies really yellow, but then it like, I don't think it's actually adjusting to your skin tone, but I think it just kind of balances out. Like, the yellow calms down a little bit. And then I like this one so much. I got the shade 280C, which I'm neutral, so I feel like I can go like warm or cool tone. I went C just because of how yellow the original one was that I got, if that makes sense. So these were definitely my favorite, and it's like glass bottle. I just saw Rose. She says they're using it wrong. I can't. I'm like, y'all are fucking lying, because look at my face. It's just, okay, I'm gonna say it's like a medium coverage, but buildable to full. But again, there's just something different. Like, it looks natural, but it also looks like full glam at the same time. It's so weird and so different for me. But it's just like the two foundations that I talked about today. I'm like, it's totally different vibes, though. Like, the Dior is a lot more like your skin, but better. Gucci's gonna basically make your skin look even better. Like, it's not your real skin. You could still kind of see it, but your husband's gonna look at you a little different. So, there's that. Now, I'm gonna hit Hermes in a little bit because I can't with Hermes right now. So let's talk about Hailey's Beauty. So they actually recently found me on TikTok and they sent me some things. And I have just been using the shit out of these ever since they sent them. So here's the tea that I've been using them. This is the beauty sponge. I think that's the name of it. But this sponge, it reminds me of, you know how people were talking about the Paw Paw sponge? I wasn't the biggest fan, but initially, like, the texture of it reminded me of that one. But ever since I used it, I'm just like, there's just something that I love about this, and then every time I've washed it, I haven't ripped it yet. That's, like, the one downfall of the Beauty Blender. I feel like I rip them really quickly. I like that it's got, like, the little logo right here, too. It just says Hailey's Beauty. Jenna, you're lying! I love it. But this sponge is just thebomb.com. I love it. I think a sponge is just really personal preference, and I've been recently reaching for a sponge way more than I previously had. But this retouched the Soft Focus Setting Powder. I did not realize the difference that this made until the live chat was like, whoa. Like, I was just applying it one day, and it's just like, pores where? Where did they go? I don't know, like, I feel like when you look at my face now, you could still see my pores, but I have very apparent pores, I feel. Like, you could really see my pores usually, I feel. So when I applied this, I feel like it was the same effect that when I tried, like, the Chantecaille powder live. It was just like, I applied it, and it was just like, whew. So I can't complain, and I've been wearing this. It's like, I feel like, especially with the Gucci foundation, I feel like it transfers, but it doesn't actually transfer off of my face. It's so weird. Like, when I blot and stuff, like, I'll see pigmentation come up, but it doesn't actually take it off my face. It's, again, it's fucking bizarre. But that's the only way that I could explain. Like, this just makes everything look so much more just, like, airbrushed, flawless. But it's, like, it's still natural. I don't know, it's so hard to say because it's like people's skin is so different, but that's where I feel like a big focus for me is like texture. When I find products that make my skin look less texturized, that's what I love as well. So those were Hailey's Beauty. I fucking love those products. They were both sent to me, but I would still buy them over again. And then I also have some lashes from Lilly Lashes. I wore the shit out of these. Like, when I want a more dramatic lash, the NYC and Miami lashes, I just feel like there was a time that, like, when I was doing super colorful looks, I was always wearing these just, like, fluttery, crazy, just in-your-face type of lashes. I've been much more, like, subtle lately. Angelic and innocent, but those were definitely a fave. And then I had LYS Beauty. I tried everything that they had launched, and my favorite thing were definitely these cream blushes. I feel like these got the hype that they deserve, though. Like, they sold out super quick. I picked up the shade Confident, and I just think it's so pretty. Like, it's such a great formula, and it has just the type of texture that I like with my cream products. Like, I don't feel like I'm as particular as a lot of other people when it comes to creams. This doesn't give me, like, the wet, dewy finish to it. It's a lot more toned down. I think it just makes your skin look healthy, and it's just like this shade especially is just something that looks just, it's just very natural. It's just very put together. That's the easiest way I could explain it. That was the only thing that I like really love though from LYS Beauty. I think everything else was fine, but that was definitely the standout for me. And then I was actually sent this by a subscriber as well for my birthday. The Melt Cosmetics, the cream blush lights, this specific shade though. They sent me the shade Polished. And there's just something that I just love about this formula. It reminds me a lot of Tower 28, though. Like, I feel like it's a, like, more emollient version of Tower 28. Like, I love this one, too, because it has, I don't know, it's got, like, a radiance to it. Like, it's got shimmers in there. If that, I don't want it to sound, like, worse than it does, though. Because, like, when you say a shimmer in a cream, it kind of freaks people out. It just gives you almost like Orgasm X from NARS. It's like a cream version of that, which I love that blush. It's one of my favorites in my collection. So I'm like, I love the packaging on this. It's got that just like magnetic closure that I live for. This shade specifically though, I'm like, I just feel like I could not stop wearing it as soon as it was sent to me. But you could see the sheen that it has here, but it's a more like flat finish. I personally like where it gives you a little bit more dew, and then it gives you like the radiance too. I love that shit, man. So I'll get into one that was like, if I were to pick one, it would be the fave in just a moment. So let's talk really quick about Chanello. Now I feel like I've tried a lot more from Chanello, but if I had to pick one product that blew my socks off, it's this blush duo. I think it's sold out currently, but this is I think it's called the Fleurs de Printemps. Who didn't love this blush this year? I'll wait, because I feel like this was the one blush duo that everybody, they kind of slept on it first, and then they saw the hype, and then I feel like everybody had it. But the reason that I love this so much is because you have a blush highlight. But what I do with this typically is I just mix them both together. But this blush duo, it hits different. It does. Every single time I wear this, I always explain this as, this is like my drunk flush to my face. Like when I get drunk, I get a flush. And it looks like this. So I'm going to just be wearing this and everybody's going to think I'm drunk. But it's just a product that I fell in love with it. It's still like something I would consider one of the top in my collection. That's how much I love it. So there's my Chanello. I was trying to think, I'm like, I feel like there were more products, but I think like the Lip Tenno duos, I think I started using those last year. So that's where I was like, I feel like I'm cheating. Let me grab it anyway. Screw it. It's right here. So these, they're like the liquid lipstick duos. These were both sent to me by a lovely subscriber. What are these actually called? The Rouge Duo Ultra Tenue Gloss. So it's got like a liquid lipstick gloss situation. If you're a bride, these are the fucking best because they last all day. They last all day. It's got like I said, it's got the liquid lipstick gloss on the other side. I feel like my most used one though, but I feel like this was last year. Tender Beige. It's so good. This is just like my perfect nude. It's fantastic. Such a good formula. I love these. But again, I think I'm cheating by throwing them in here because I think I used them last year. And then I also have Natasha Denona, the I Need a Nude Lip Crayon. It's hard for me to get excited about like a lip liner because I'm always like, it's a fucking lip liner. It usually doesn't make like that. I should not say it like that. I feel like it's really hard to impress me with a lip liner. That's how I should say it. A lip liner makes a huge difference when it comes to lip application, but I don't feel like it's something that I'm ever like, oh my god, this is the best lip liner formula that I've ever tried. I hope I make sense there. But this formula is fantastic. This is the shade Ilona, Ilona. Ilona. I think it's pronounced Ilona. So I bought this one to put it with the I Need a Nude lipstick from, it was like the Love collection. I really enjoyed that formula too, but there's other lip formulas, as we've talked about, that I just prefer over that one. But that is still one of like my favorite lipsticks. But I'm like, all right, Natasha Denona, you did a good lip liner. But it's really pretty. The shade specifically is really pretty. And then we have some Tom Ford. Okay, I'm dipping my toes into Tom Ford, okay? I'll blame Mo for her, Tom Ford Tuesday. Happy Tom Ford Tuesday, baby! I know this is not new, but I have been wearing this, and I just think it's fantastic. It's very much like the Auric, okay? And I feel like Auric has probably the same sort of a shade, but Naked Bronze and the cream and powder eye color. Again, it's not new, but man, is she gorgeous. And you know what? It was actually Mo's video that made me reach for these again because she like swatched all of the ones that she had. And I'm like, oh my God, why do I never use these? I actually do think, though, I like Auric's formula a little bit better. Oh my God, but that's so pretty. I'm not going to stay on this one too long, but man, is she good. And then we had the Tom Ford, the Rose Prick collection. I'm not talking about any eyeshadow palettes today. I'm going to do a separate video on those. I probably should have said that in the beginning. But the Lip Color Satin Matte in the shade To Die For from the Rose Prick collection. First of all, this packaging is everything. But this, again, it's just a satin pink lipstick. Oh my god. It's so beautiful. I don't know what else to tell you besides look at that shade. Okay? Stunning. Love it. So that's all that I have so far from Tom Ford, but I feel like in like December, January, you're going to see a lot more from Tom Ford. Now, let's talk about Makeup by Mario, because this was a brand I was not expecting to, and I don't even know why. I don't know why I was not expecting to enjoy his products. But then his newest launch was in store. It was launch day, and I was like, oh, I feel like this is the universe telling me, like, you need to try Makeup by Mario's brand. So I picked up, first, the highlighter. This is the Soft Glow highlighter in the shade Golden. If I had to pick a highlighter that I've worn the most, I think it would be this one. I reach for this all the time. And it's so beautiful. It's nothing extraordinary. It's just like a gold tone highlighter. But there is something very unique about it. I feel like it just gives you, like, you have golden sparkles on your face. I do have it on my face today, along with another product I'm going to talk about. But it's just beautiful. It looks so nice. It looks, I mean, for texture, it doesn't really accentuate a ton of it. Since it does have, like, the sparkles and stuff, I do feel like it draws a little bit of, like, it draws a little bit of attention to that. But if I picked one product from his line that knocked my socks off, it's, again, I don't know if it's this shade specifically, but the Soft Pop Blush Stick in the shade Earthy Pink. I don't know if I have any other cream blush in my collection that is more perfect than that. There's something, for my collection, this shade is very unique. I feel like I always lean more towards like terracotta or like orangey tones or like burnt skin looking. So when I reached for this one, I was like, all right, it's something different. That's why I went with this shade. I like the fact too that it has like this little brush, and it works actually really well with this formula. But what I love so much about this formula is it gives me like what Tower 28 gives for me. It gives me that, it just makes my skin look smooth, but it looks dewy. It gives me that radiance to my skin, but it's like the perfect amount, so it's not like over the top. I also have this on my face today. It's just pure perfection. It's so nice, and I do really like the aesthetic of this packaging. I think it does feel like a little bit like cheapy, but I'm like, when I look at this, I get so excited to use it. It's just, it's beautiful. I really love this. If I was to pick a favorite though, like, it's definitely Earthy Pink. I want to get more of those to see if it is like the shade of that, or if it's the formula, or if it's just both. I fucking love it. I don't know what else to say. And then, if you're wondering what's on my lips right now, I feel like this brand gets a lot of hype for their eyeshadows, and I'm like, okay, cool. But have you tried their liquid lipsticks, though? Because you know what? Alien Cosmetics, everybody is sleeping on these. If you love a matte liquid lipstick, I'm wearing the shade Eerie today. This is like my most worn. I feel like actually this is like the only one that I've worn. If I'm filming a wedding, this is what I wear now. Because it looks like this all day long. All day. It's like, it doesn't transfer, but let me tell you about how comfortable it is. Let me tell you about how smooth it makes my lips look. Every time I wear this, I get compliments. Like, okay, I get it. I got lip filler. My lips look amazing because of that. But there's just something about this formula. It just works so well for longevity and not drying out your lips. Because even like the Chanel ones, they do dry out my lips. Like, thankfully, that comes with a gloss because of how dry it does make my lips feel. These don't do that. Yes, Lori said, am I wearing it today? I'm wearing the shade Eerie. So I have the shade Eerie, Autumn, and Leaves. I'll show you guys these two as well. So this is the shade Leaves. I can't wait to wear that in the fall because it's got like such a beautiful like orangey tint to it. And this is the shade Autumn. This one's more like a little bit lighter than what I'm wearing, and it's a little bit more nude, but it's like a nude pink. Looks very pretty. But these, I'm going to do a future video on Alien Cosmetics because I have more stuff from them to try, but these are so fucking bomb. And again, I'm like, everybody raves about their eyeshadows, but y'all are missing out on their matte liquid lips. Just saying. Now, let's talk about literally one of the most expensive things I've ever purchased in my life, and that's Louboutin. Because, you know what? I get it. These are so expensive, but let me tell you about this cheek trio. I went into this expecting the packaging to be very underwhelming. I went into this expecting the formula to suck, and none of that is true. This formula and this packaging is 20 out of 10. You hear that? You hear that magnetic closure? This detail on the back, I've talked about this so many times. Like, okay, when I'm talking about luxury, I'm like, I hate when they put stickers on shit. And this is why. It's like, this should have a moment. Like, at this point, who gives a shit about a sticker, right? I may have an unpopular opinion with that, but I love this. I think it's so well done. It's so beautiful. And this trio just works so well for my skin tone, especially for spring, summer. I thought maybe the highlighter would be a little bit too light for me, but these have that beautiful skin-like finish to them. And I love it. It's one of those things that it's like, okay, is it worth that price point? To some people, they're going to say, no fucking way. They're going to say, there's no way I'm spending $150 on a trio of powders. But it's what you have to do is you have to pay for the packaging separately. So you pay for this, and then you pay for the packaging. I high-key kind of love that, though, because you actually get to, like, kind of customize it. I have the eyeshadow palette as well, so that has the black packaging with, like, the red bottom, which is such a vibe. I hope that they do more of these. Like, I was talking about this with one of my friends. I'm like, if they do a white packaging with a red bottom, oh, bitch. I need it in my life. So I'm like, it looks like nothing special, but I feel like you can even kind of see that just sheen that these powders have. They're stunning. I think it's such a beautiful product. Yes, it's expensive, but you know what? You're getting the luxury experience. You get like this box, you get a little pin so you can pop out your like little pan out of the packaging if you want to switch it up. It's just, again, it's a luxury experience, and I love that shit. So there's that. Moving on, we have VIEVE. If you've been around my channel for a while, I love this brand. Everything that they do is fucking everything. So I couldn't remember if their lipsticks and lip liners launched last year. So I'm going to kind of blaze through these. I love this formula, both their formulas. This is, again, a brand that I just think nails it. They give you that luxury experience for like a high-end price point, and I just love the aesthetic of this brand. So these are definitely two products that I love. But the star of the show currently for me is 100% their blushes. I have used, second to the Chanel, I think this would be the second runner-up for my most used blush, and it is the shade Cherub in this blush formula. This is a blush formula. It's so pigmented, so you want to be very careful when you're applying it because you can go too hard too quickly, very, very quickly. So this formula, I feel like this brand, too, is very underrated. Like, am I the only one that realizes how good their products are? Because I feel like there's not that many people really talking about it. So this packaging, I like the aesthetic. I wish it was more of like the bronzer packaging, which I'm not going to talk about that today because I've only been able to use it once so far. But these blushes, I have the shade Cherub, Piazza, and Sorbet. I love these. They give you that beautiful skin-like finish to them, but again, they are very pigmented. So I feel like if you're not as well versed with blush, these may be like too much for you, but this is the shade Sorbet. This is my newest one. And then the shade Piazza. I just think this is so unique, but this is definitely more like bronzer type of vibes for me. And I think I would wear this more like in probably fall, winter. Beautiful though. Again, it's the aesthetic, it's everything, but I do need to sneak this one in because I'm like, I feel like this formula is so unique. I just started using it, but the VIEVE Skin Dew Glow Multitasker, I used this for the first time the other day and I was like, oh, bitch. You guys probably saw the video if you're watching right now. I used this and I was like, oh my girl. The reason that I say this formula is so different because it's like, it's the texture. I love the way that it smells. It almost feels like it should be a gloss. Because it does. I have it on my face right now. It gives you that very dewy, wet look to the skin, but you still have all of that radiance in there. So you're going to get a highlight effect as well. So not only are you getting the highlight, but you're also getting that juicy look to your skin. They got a gloss coming out, and I cannot wait to get it. Like, literally everything that VIEVE does, I think that they murder it. Love it. And then let's talk about, I have some things over here. Let's talk about some Huda Beauty. I'm almost done, I promise. Huda Beauty launched the Glowish Bronzer, which I really like this one. If I were to pick between the Gucci and this one, I think I would still pick the Gucci. But the reason that I went with this one is because I love the fact that you get like multiple shades in one. It's almost like you can mix it all together to get a custom shade. So I have the shade 04 Deep Tan. This is the Soft Radiance Bronzing Powder. It's a different formula than I was expecting. Like, I thought it was going to be, I don't even know what I thought it was going to be. So here's a little swatch for you guys. So when you see a swatch like this, you're like, it looks very dark, but I feel like this is a very buildable formula. I really do like the packaging. I just like the whole aesthetic of this, but my favorite thing from Huda Beauty was 100% the Huda Beauty, the Balm Brows Micro Shade Brow Pencil. I think I've gone through 3 of these so far, which is the only downfall about this is I go through them super quick, but I wear the shade Soft Black. It's not what's on my brows today. I ran out again. So this one, I'm currently using the Refi. I still like the Huda. Like, this is the best brow pencil I have ever used. So this is actually going to go right in my empties trash can. I was going to say trash can, but the empties. So stay tuned for a future empties. So that's everything that I had from Huda. And then let's talk about my boo, Scott Barnes. I love me some Scott Barnes so much. So this was not new, technically like a new launch for him this year, but I didn't pick it up until this year. This is the Scott Barnes, the Illuminator palette. Love this aesthetic. I love how it has that reflect right there. Is the Huda bronzer a little glowy or a little matte? I would say it's more glowy, but it doesn't have like a super... I would say it's more like skin-like. I don't think it's quite glowy, but I don't think it's matte either. I think it's in the middle. So this blush, or not blush, highlighter palette. What else do I need to say other than showing you how glorious? I personally love like these 3 shades. I like mixing them though. This is the perfect highlighter palette for a makeup artist. Like, I think that's the one thing that I'm just like, oh my god, he just nails it for makeup artists. His products are so expensive, but he has sales all the time. I would not pay full price. Wait till his products go on sale, but he's launching blushes soon and I can't fucking wait. But these highlighters, it's like they give you that beaming, like, glow goddess vibe. But it's so flattering on texture. I don't know what it is about his formulas that I think is so fantastic, but here, I'll show you swatches. They're just like, oh, we didn't come to play. So intense, so beautiful. I really do love this palette. But probably my most worn lashes, besides like my Kiss, like very natural looking lashes, I think I would say these Scott Barnes, these are the falsetto lashes in, I think it's called Jungle Jen. Jennifer Lopez wore these, I forget what for, and I was like, I need them. And that was it. Oh, Rose says the skin tint is fire from Glowish. I do really like that, but it wasn't like, oh my god, losing my shit like a lot of these products were, but it was really good. So these Jungle Jen lashes, I just really like these. I've worn these so many times, like at least 30 times, and they're still ready to go for more. That's where I could easily justify spending money on false lashes that are more expensive, is if they stand the test of time, and his absolutely do that. So there's that for Scott Barnes. And then last thing are his glosses. These are now permanent. So I have the shade Blondie in Coral Cabana. Listen, his gloss formula, if you've never tried it, you could thank me later. Coral Cabana is like the perfect gloss for spring and summer. His formula is definitely more sticky. It's got a very precise brush applicator, which typically I'm not a big fan of. Simply because I want to just apply it and be done. I don't want to sit there and like dip in like I was with the House of Sillage. But these ones I'm like, I can deal with it for these ones, simply because I feel like, especially since I've been applying my lip gloss like he does, it makes so much sense because you can hit it so precisely, like on the high points, and you're not applying the gloss all over your lips. So I think it does make a lot of sense, but these are so shiny, so juicy, and I really love like the peephole so you can see what shades they are. I think in the new packaging though, for like the permanent, it's going to be gold packaging instead of the white. These are so good though. Love them. And then we have, I wanted to throw this in here, Propa Beauty. They did their shade extension this year. This is such, oh, it's so good. The shade Moxie. I still love this formula for lipsticks. If you're looking for something that is more like sheer but buildable, and a satin formula is so good. Moxie, you came from my heart. I love that one. And then Batty Bee Lashes, they launched lash glue at Walmart. This has quickly become like my favorite lash glue. I'm like, where did this come from? I was in Walmart. Their lashes are now available there. And I'm looking, they had mascara and lash glue. I'm like, why did I not see them like show this off or anything? But why I like this one so much is, one, it has like the clear and the black, but it dries so quickly. So it's like I could actually apply it, like basically like shape my lash, blow on it, and then apply it, and it sticks. Like there's just something that sticks so nicely with this formula. Like I don't feel like I'm having to like adjust my lashes all around. I think once I place my lash and actually hit my skin, it doesn't move. Whereas a lot of other lash glues that I've used, it's like one side will come up and then the other side will come up like as I'm trying to adjust it. And it's super inexpensive. So Batty Bee Lashes Lash Glue, love that. And then last makeup brand. Saving the best for last, because Hermes, baby. Did y'all see that fucking highlighter on Instagram yesterday? Because I cannot wait. And this is exactly why. These are like $80 a piece. And I have 3 of them. That's how much I love these. So I have the shade Rose Blush, Rose Pomade, and Rose Faux, I think it's pronounced. Not really sure. But these blushes are amazing. These blushes are amazing if you have texture. So you get this nice little box. The packaging is a little less desirable than I was expecting. I wish it was a little bit heavier, but it still looks very classy, very bougie, very luxe. So this is my favorite shade right here. This is my typical type of blush tone. I love this tone on my face. So this is, what, 61 Rose Faux. But let me tell you, this changes these blushes. This blush brush from Hermes with this formula, it takes these blushes to another level. Like I tried using my Refer, my 3 or 4. It's like the angled powder brush. I think it's the 3. I tried using that one first. It's a very sheer, very, very sheer formula. So I'm like, all right, let's try this $88 brush. Did I want to spend that much? Hell to the nah. But there's something so special about this blush brush and this formula. It applies it perfectly. It applies it more pigmented. And I regret nothing. How about that? Highly, highly, Highly recommend. I know it's expensive. My phone keeps going off. Can we not? Thank you so much. And since I was so impressed with those products, I ended up picking up a lipstick in the Rouge Hermes Satin Lipstick formula. I know, surprise, surprise. Look at it. This is, like, I expected to get this because it comes in like a little baggie. I expected the blushes to come in this as well, but it doesn't. But let me tell you what. This packaging, this is like the nicest lipstick packaging I think I own. Ready? Love that. This shade, though, so good. Oh, Letitia's asking if I could swatch the other blush shades. I can. Are you kidding me? Honestly. This is the shade number 50 Rose Zinzolin. I'll link it for you guys after, but man, oh man, if you have not tried this formula, get it together, because it's fucking bomb. I had my reservations. I'm like, there's no way it's that good. Yes, it is. Granted, it's a satin formula, so it's not as long lasting, but it's fire. Okay, you guys wanted to see the other swatches for the Hermes. I'll do this because I only have a couple more products, and they're not really new products either. They're just products that I reach for all the time. Hold on. Give me a moment. I should have taken all the stuff out of the box before I started this video, because I had a feeling that you guys would ask, but alright, so I've got Rose Pomade. I did a video on these, so if you guys want more detail, that would probably be a good video to reference. And then we have Rose Blush. Rose Blush was my favorite until I got Rose Faux. So these two are winning. Beautiful. So when you swatch them, you're like, they're nothing spectacular. Stop it right now. They are spectacular. And this is why. Because they look beautiful on the skin. So there's that. Let's go through the last few brands that I've got. Let's start with Refer. Not new, but the 13 and 14. They have these in the concept store in like a crease bundle right now. Highly recommend. I have it linked down below. And also the Lash Curler. This is also in the concept store for like half off. This is just like the Shiseido, but better. I think everything about this is better as far as like manufacturing wise. Refer steals the show for me. I fucking love them. And then Wayne Goss launched his new Edit collection, and I've been trying it, testing it. I never dedicated a video to it, but these three brushes are the standouts for me. I have the the number 1, 3, and 4. I think the face brushes in his collection are worth it. I don't ever use his eye brushes, though, in this collection specifically. So if he does end up launching these like individually, which I think was such a missed opportunity, these are the ones that I would say go for it. I've been using the shit out of the number 1, though. This is my most used, and then second to that is the number 4. This is if I want like a really precise highlight application, and then if I want something a little bit more like veiled, I'll use the number 3. So these are the 3 brushes from the Wayne Goss that I recommend. And then BK Beauty, I cannot get enough of the 106 and the 108. The 108 I've been using for like my under eye for concealer if I don't use a sponge, or my cream highlights. This has become such a love. And then the 106 is just like my main for all of like my cheek products. You could use this as like foundation and stuff, but I like this for like contour, bronzer, as far as like creams and liquids. These two are bae, man. I love it. So those are all the products that I could at least think of going through my collection right now. I know there's a lot here. Okay, some people were like, don't give us so much. But I think when it comes to like December, like January, I'm going to narrow it down to like if I had to pick one of the best of each category. If you guys like it this way though, please let me know. If you like how I do it by brand, if you'd rather me do it by like order of application. I think when I did by the brand last time, you guys did like it better. And again, I will have timestamps down below if you want to just jump to one specific brand. But again, everything is on my face today. I think this looks gorgina except for brows. That's the only thing that's not featured in today's video. So I hope you guys did enjoy it. I know this was a long one, but if you guys did, I would appreciate it if you guys give a big thumbs up or thumbs it down. If you were hate watching, I appreciate you, and I will be back, I think, maybe tomorrow or the following day, we're going to talk about the Nordstrom anniversary sale next, I think, because wish list is being put together as we speak, and I got recommendations for you guys as well. So if you guys want to see that, subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. Okay, bye!